Welcome to the deep dive.
Okay, so we've got this really detailed astrological forecast you sent over. Our mission today is pretty surgical. We're treating these specific predictions for Leo in October 2025 as like key data points. We're going to dive in and pull out the most crucial insights, the actionable stuff across career, money, love, and health.
That's exactly right. Think of it as translating celestial advice into, practical strategy. Looking at the overall vibe for October 2025, the source material paints a picture it's not just rewarding, it's also a bit of a test. The prediction is this potent mix, power moves, money twists, and some love drama. Basically, huge potential for success is there, but only if you, the listener, really nail the balance this month.
Yeah, let's unpack that right away, starting with career. The forecast mentions extremely high visibility. It says Leos are shining brighter than ever, and importantly, the right people are noticing. Sounds like prime time. What's actually, driving this big spotlight? Well, according to the source analysis, it looks like a really strong focus on your public image, your reputation. Think traditional 10th house stuff, probably getting activated by some key planets lining up. This creates this undeniable magnetism, authority even. The material definitely confirms, great time to lead, present ideas, make an impact.
But there's a big but here, isn't there? You mentioned this high energy needs careful management.
Absolutely. That high visibility point, it comes paired immediately with a serious warning. Despite feeling powerful, notice, on top of your game, that fiery Leo energy, it needs to be consciously slowed down. The source is very specific here, warning, don't rush. Don't jump into big deals or partnerships too quickly.
So that's a classic dilemma, right? You're peaking, the iron's hot, but the advice is hold back. How do you square that? If you pause too long, don't you risk losing the opportunity altogether?
That's exactly the strategic tightrope this month involves. It's tricky. The source isn't saying miss the opportunity, it's saying secure the right one properly, the high visibility itself. It might actually blind you to crucial details. That's the risk. If we dig a bit deeper, the forecast suggests the most critical time for this strategic pause is around the middle 2 weeks of October. That period demands extra due diligence. Check the fine print. Really scrutinize agreements. Basically, your speed of action needs to match thoughtful planning. Channel that excitement into careful execution, not just impulsive leaps.
Okay, that reframes it. Due diligence isn't the roadblock, it's the actual power move here.
Precisely. Being seen is great, but strategic caution is what makes you successful this month.
All right, let's follow the money. The material calls it money twists. Intriguing term. Because it's not all negative, is it? Sources talk about potential for extra income, rewards from past efforts, the long game paying off.
Yeah, the material strongly suggests that investments you've made could be time, could be resources, education. They're basically set to mature in October. It's like a harvest time, financially. And likely tied to that career success we just talked about. Could be a bonus, maybe a client payment that was long overdue, or even some kind of favorable settlement.
Sounds like a clear win. Okay, but here comes the twist. This expected inflow gets balanced by a pretty stark warning about sudden expenses. It's like you get a big check, and then boom, the tax bill arrives, or the car needs a massive repair.
It's that classic energetic push-pull, isn't it? And what's interesting is the source analysis connects these sudden expenses to specific areas. It points towards either taxes and debt, sort of 8th house themes, or unexpected costs tied to your home, your foundation. So we're not talking frivolous spending here. These are likely mandatory sudden hits to your cash flow.
So if the prediction is both inflow and a significant drain, what's the actual advice? Beyond just be careful.
It's really twofold. First, a smart budget isn't just advisable, it's crucial. The material is explicit. Resist splurging, even when that extra cash lands. Treat a good chunk of it as a buffer for that predicted surprise expense. Second, the advice is to keep things solid financially. What does that mean? It means avoiding high-risk speculative stuff this month. October is about capitalizing on past work and shoring up your position, not really the time for risky financial ventures.
That takes some serious discipline, though. If you know a payout's coming, that temptation to buy the shiny thing is strong.
Exactly, and that loops right back to that core theme, strategic balance. If you let the fiery excitement from your career drive impulsive money moves, you can just cancel out the gains.
Yeah.
Really, the money segment is about discipline acting as the guardrail for your success.
Okay, let's pivot to love. Described as spicy, passionate, but also intense. Sounds like emotional volume is turned way up.
Oh, absolutely. That same powerful, magnetic energy making you shine at work, it definitely spills over into romance. Let's look at singles first. The prediction is they'll feel super magnetic, like an almost irresistible pull. And it's a big But the magnetism works best if they're clear about what they really want.
Okay, need to unpack that. If you're super magnetic, why the need for clarity? Won't people just be drawn to you anyway?
You'll attract volume, yes, but without clarity, you risk attracting chaos. See, this high magnetism means people get drawn to the surface shine, the confidence. The deep dive here suggests being clear means defining your non-negotiables before you engage deeply. Otherwise, you might pull in connections based purely on ego boosts or intensity, which could fizzle fast or just cause drama down the line.
And for those already in relationships, the high intensity sounds like it might manifest as actual conflict. The sources say couples should expect a few clashes mid-month.
Yes, they do. And what's really fascinating, critically so, is why. The source pinpoints the root cause very specifically: pride and misunderstandings. It suggests it's not necessarily external stress bleeding over like money worries or job pressure. It's more an internal thing. Ego clashes, crossed wires.
The quintessential Leo challenge, perhaps. That desire to stand your ground, even if you suspect you might be a little off, because backing down feels like losing face, losing power.
The analysis suggests this tendency could be particularly strong around the 15th to the 20th of October. And since the identified cause is pride, the source material is quite direct about the solution. The only way through this intensity, it says, is to keep it real and talk it out.
Okay, but keep it real. What does that actually look like when your ego feels threatened, on fire?
The sources seem to suggest focusing on listening first, actively listening. Instead of immediately reacting to what feels like a slight, the strategy should be de-escalation. How? By asking clarifying questions. The core issue is tagged as misunderstanding, not necessarily malice. So the winning approach isn't defending your position tooth and nail, but trying to genuinely clarify the intent behind what was said or done. It requires humility. Temporarily setting the crown aside, you could say. That's the antidote to the clash.
That's much more practical than just vaguely saying communicate better. It really drills down into ego defense being the hurdle.
Exactly right. Success in love this month seems to hinge entirely on your willingness to lower that defensive shield, maybe a bit faster than usual.
All right, let's tackle the final piece: health. With all this going on, high visibility, financial tightrope, intense romance burnout feels like a clear and present danger.
It absolutely is. The material confirms you do have strong overall energy this month. You feel capable of handling these high demands. However, the caveat is that the stress, the cumulative effect, can catch up to you unexpectedly. You're running on high-octane fuel, sure, but you absolutely cannot afford to skip the maintenance checks.
So, because of the sheer volume of energy demands across the board, the sources detail some mandatory self-care steps.
Yeah, they're framed as non-negotiable this month. Prioritize rest, get good quality sleep, and crucially, do not overdo it. That impulse to just keep pushing because you feel good, that's apparently what sets you up for a potential dip maybe mid-month. The sources really emphasize quality sleep as like the foundational strategy. It underpins your ability to perform well everywhere else.
And this is where we get that really great metaphor the source uses. It says, self-care is necessary for recharging your royal batteries. I love that.
It's a fantastic way to frame it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It shifts self-care away from being seen as a weakness, something you do only when you're exhausted, and reframes it as essential maintenance for high-level performance. For leadership even. If you want to maintain that visible, powerful position in your career, well, you have to maintain the source of that power. Skipping on sleep in this view is like dimming the wattage of your own crown.
Okay, so if we pull all four areas together, career, money, love, health, for this October 2025 forecast, what's the single big message, the overarching theme?
I'd say the overarching message is really about balanced power, but driven by strategic pausing. Success this month seems to rely entirely on balancing that innate Leo fire, the brightness, the passion, with deliberate strategic caution. Right across the board, the fire gives you the momentum, absolutely. But the caution, the pause, provides the structure, the sustainability. So slowing down to vet career deals, budgeting defensively for finances, leading with communication over pride and relationships.
So boiling it down for you, the listener, heading into October, what does this all mean? We've got 4 key tactical takeaways, really. 1, own that spotlight at work, but be strategically slow on the trigger for big moves. 2, budget defensively. Expect that surprise expense, even if income is up, brace for it. 3, keep it honest and love. Lead with curiosity, ask questions, not just pride, especially mid-month. And 4, remember that rest isn't optional. It's essential maintenance for recharging your royal batteries.
Exactly. And that brings us to maybe a final thought for you to chew on. Given that the sources seem to point to a common root cause in a couple areas, like impulsive fire leading to poor strategy, or excess pride causing conflict, consider this. How How might deliberately practicing slowing down in one area, say taking that extra week on a work negotiation, how might that fundamentally improve a seeming unrelated area, like reducing friction in your personal communication? The insight here could be that practicing strategic pause and maybe a bit of humility professionally might actually build the emotional muscle you need to navigate those pride-driven clashes personally. Think about how that discipline, that strategic pause, might just cascade across your whole life in time.